Welcome to Fit for Halter, the podcast where we share stories and insights with the best in the industry to bring practical content to the amateur halter exhibitor. In this episode, I'm shifting focus from the pen to the lens and diving into the art of capturing the perfect picture. Whether it's an ad, a horse and rider session, horse show candids, or those amazing black background shots, my guest, Brittany Callahan of Brittany Callahan Photography, plays a huge role in how our horses are seen and remembered. We're talking about how to prepare your halter horse for a successful photo shoot, what makes a photo truly sell a horse, and some of the wildest moments she's experienced behind the camera. Welcome, Brittany, and thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I am excited to share you with our community. Can you just start by telling us about your own horse journey?
Yes, so I was born and raised in Florida, and I started with quarter horses and ended up having a paint. And I just loved it. I loved showing down in the Florida circuits. Um, but unfortunately now I don't have horses, which led me into what I do now.
Awesome. Well, I'm sorry that you don't have a horse right now, but I'm thankful when I see you at a horse show and you're the one behind the camera
Oh,
because I know
thanks.
the pictures are going to be amazing. So then you mentioned uh, having been in the show scene or show world with stock horses. What drew you to the actual art of photography and how did you develop your style?
So after leaving horses, it sucks. Once you're a horse girl and you don't have horses in your life, it's absolutely terrible. Um, so I actually had a session with my dog, and that's where I learned about pet photography. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want to do this. So once I got my camera, I knew the first thing I wanted to do was take pictures of horses. And
Mm.
after basically being in a few like mentorships with other photographers that I looked up to, it just kind of like morphed into my current style, whether it's in the arena or out with horse and rider sessions.
Mm-hmm. I remember as you're mentioning the dogs that you have that you occasionally post dogs and you're trying to get multiple breeds. I love
Yes.
that. I love seeing what breed you're going to post next.
Yeah.
So love it. So then how do you capture through what you learned about pet photography and then the horses, how do you capture the personality of a horse when you take its picture?
So what I love to do is first, there's always communication with
Mm.
the owner, the client,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of feed off of that, and I kind of take a moment to like step back and just observe the horses, see what they naturally do. Some are just most geldings are super goofy, and and you just look at them, you observe them, and you when you start taking the photos, you just kind of take photos through their movements. That way you can capture their goofy little smirks, their little cute expressions, just little lip twitches, or them like looking completely stoic if they're like a
Mm.
stud or, a mare. And, it's just sitting back, looking at the horse, seeing what they're going to give you, and just try to take advantage of
Mm.
that when you're like taking the photos.
Mm-hmm. Um, so many questions come to mind because I've been behind your camera or in front of your
Yes.
camera, I guess I should say. And yeah, I'm amazed at how quickly it seems that you calculate all of those thoughts um, or strategize very quickly in the moment. And then almost right away, you're capturing the very things that you're talking about.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing.
Yep.
So maybe we have a listener who's interested in photography. What is your favorite lens or piece of gear that you think is essential for shooting horses?
So, if you are a photographer wanting to take photos of horses, I highly recommend getting the best 70 to 200 millimeter lens that you can afford. You can go with a cheaper camera body at first and just upgrade later, but I
Mm,
would definitely recommend getting the best 70 to 200 you can afford right now. And I do everything. That's the only lens that I have. I do everything with it. And yeah, so I would definitely a 70 to 200 lens.
okay.
I shoot with Sony.
Okay.
Um, I don't know too much about Canon. I know a lot of other people use Canon, but
Hmm.
I'm a Sony girl.
Okay. All right. So then tell us what the difference is between photographing a show horse in action, like in the pen, because you get great candids, and
Yes.
then your portraits or the black backgrounds where everybody is still, ideally, or as still as possible, and capturing a moment that way. Tell us what the
So
difference is in there. Yeah.
for me, I think the difference is like kind of personal. Like I of course love getting the photos in the arena. So you're showing off your hard work in the arena. But
Mm-hmm.
you have one go and that's it. But what I really love are the portrait things, whether it's the candids or like an actual horse and rider session to really capture the bonds between them. It's it's just so much fun, like to capture the hard work that you actually put in to your horse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not just a horse, they're your partner. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're a shoulder to cry on. They're so much more than just an animal. And so
Right.
being able to capture that in different ways is really exciting.
Mm. Yeah. I see that in the pictures that you are posting. Yeah, I can see all of that. So then how do you balance what a client expects from you uh, and marry that with your own creative vision that might be a little bit different than maybe what a client is expecting or hoping for? How do you put that together?
Luckily, all of my clients pretty much let me be as creative as I want to
Mm.
be. But when I send out my session agreements, I have a little blurb there because I want to know what you want as well.
Hmm.
If a client has seen something on Pinterest or something, they're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. I want this." And it's not necessarily something that I normally do. Like, I want you to be happy, and I'm going to try my best to get that shot for you. But I always ask if there's any poses or anything that they've seen that they've always wanted, because I want to make sure I can do that. But m most of the time, the clients just let me have free reign and kind of guide them through the session.
Mm. Yeah, I can imagine being nervous, like getting your picture taken is not always a great level of doesn't always come with a great level of comfort for people. So
Yeah.
being like cameras aimed at you, pictures on purpose, yeah, that's got to be a little nerve wracking
Yeah.
for your clients. So then drilling down a little bit more into what's happening during a photo shoot, what does the day look like for you from start to finish? If you know that you're going to have either, I guess these are probably pretty different types of days, but a horse show day versus some portrait type posed horse and rider sessions. What does that day look like?
It lots of Red Bull. Watermelon Red Bull is my thing.
Okay.
But
Okay.
early mornings and then lots of laughter. I
Mm.
when I go into a session, like I realize that it's intimidating.
Mm.
For portraits, it's intimidating, especially for people who've never had photos done before. So I try to lighten the mood as much as I can and make sure that everybody's super happy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we get to the session, I greet everybody, I make sure everybody has a smile on their face and everybody's relaxed. Like
Mm.
take a deep breath and we're gonna be great. And no matter what, we're gonna get amazing photos. So as long as somebody has a smile on their face and they're having a good time, we're gonna have great photos. Um, and then once we have the session, I help them through the poses. I do photos that maybe they've asked for, and then I get to come home and look through the hundreds of photos that I've taken in our session and get to like get little sneak peeks out for everybody.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. As you and I were chatting before we started recording, one of the things I appreciate about you is that you get pictures out very quickly. It seems like you're not even home from a horse show and you've already got galleries that are posted. That's it may or may not be happening that fast. I'm dealing with a horse show hangover by the time your pictures are coming out, but you are so fast, and I as a consumer, I guess, I appreciate that about you. You're
Oh,
quick.
absolutely. Thank you. I
You
try.
bet.
I try.
Yeah. Yeah, it's clear. So, uh, could you walk us through how you prepare for a shoot? And I know that you've got a team, so maybe include the way that your team works together, from putting things together to dealing with a moving object in a horse.
Yeah, a 1,500-pound animal that has his own mind. So when it's a portrait session specifically, I
Uh-huh.
always, of course, like communicate with the clients, and I look at their location because I want, before we even schedule, I check their location so I can, when we schedule, I can make sure we get the best time for the best light. Look
Mm-hmm.
at their, I go to Google Maps. I kind of get an outline of their property so I can already have
Okay.
some ideas of where we can go because I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to make sure I'm prepared as possible going into the session. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and once I have some ideas and we get there, we'll do just a quick walk around of the property to see the spots I had in mind in person because sometimes it's a little bit different.
Sure.
And once the client is done getting their horse ready, we go over there and we just kind of start with the poses and everything and the different
Mm-hmm.
locations. My team, I have Ainsley, who is always with me at horse shows, and then also another assistant, Rebecca, who helps me with portrait stuff.
Okay.
They're both amazing. They help the clients groom their horses if they need to. They help square the horses to make sure that they are looking perfect, get those ears, and help our clients if there's like a wardrobe malfunction to help them fix that.
Right.
Like there are a million things that we keep our eye out on to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that we can give the best possible result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot going on. Eh,
Yes.
Not to mention the animal piece. The
Oh, yes. And if they, honestly, the biggest thing coming into it is having patience because we
mm-hmm.
are dealing with an animal. You know,
Sure.
they have their own mind. And if they're wiggly, whether it's a dog or a horse, like just, it's okay. It's absolutely okay. We should not, I don't expect an animal to be 100% cool, calm, and collected all the time. So if I always shoot through the movements, so if they move,
Okay.
that's fine. It'll give something extra to that picture that it wouldn't before.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as we just have patience and shoot through everything and we get great results.
Yeah. I like, I hadn't considered that, I guess, that you shoot through the movements so that sometimes you, I would imagine, get some really cool shots that weren't posed, weren't anticipated, but then maybe that's how you get those funny faces on horses and
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the geldings, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about a favorite memory or a shoot that stuck out to you.
Um, I'm gonna be a little bit mushy right now, I guess, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's one specific. Every every session that I've done is unique in its own right and is
Mm-hmm.
special in its own right. And one is not more than the other, I guess. I'm just
Uh-huh.
honored that they have allowed me to basically come into their life and capture them and their horse. And it's all special to me. It's all
Yeah.
like very special.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I have many
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
them.
Yep. That's fair. So then, if you're preparing for a shoot and you've looked at all the aspects and the variables, um, if there's something like weather that pops up or a horse that just has no time to stand still, how do you handle that? Or maybe how do you handle the person in that situation?
So sometimes the people are the ones that I have to just take a breath, breathe in and breathe out. It's okay. I have to reassure them.
Yeah.
because I feel like they get extra stressed because they get a little embarrassed that their horse isn't acting
Mm,
like it normally acts. And
yeah.
it's okay. So I've actually had to take a client and just take them to the side, tell them breathe, let's us walk a circle. And I just, when the animal is fidgety or not behaving as the client wishes it would, I
Hmm.
focus not on the animal at all, not on the horse or dog or anything. I focus on the client. Because once the client settles down,
Hmm.
the whole atmosphere will settle down. The horse or dog will settle down. So I spend my time calming them down and then
Hmm.
we get back to it. And
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. So then on the flip side of that, what makes a photo shoot successful? Either the shoot that you get or the image that you get or a situation for the client or what else determines that for you when it's really good?
For me,
Hmm.
when I leave with a smile, because the
Mm,
client is super happy, the client had fun, the horse was goofy or the horse was amazing. Like, as long as the client had a good time and it ends on a high note for them, nothing can be more successful than that.
mm,
Like, I want to make sure you have a great time. I want to make sure you are leaving with a smile, which makes me leave with a smile. I want you to remember this as a day that was just absolutely fun and amazing. And I'll get great pictures for you. But like
mhm,
that feeling is what I want you to have.
mhm, mhm,
That's successful for me.
mhm. I love that. So then, for our listeners who are now mind is churning about a shoot, maybe at a show or a portrait type session or a horse and rider session that you do on their farm, tell us about some of the things that maybe we would overthink, such as clothing, tack, or hair and makeup. Tell us about those things. What do you recommend for those areas?
So for clothing,
Uh huh.
if you have an Appaloosa or you have a paint horse that's really loud, I would
Mm-hmm.
highly suggest not wearing anything loud yourself. So no
Okay.
like super loud patterns. Um, I always like to go neutral unless if you have like a bay horse, something red, either neutral or complementary. And you
Mm-hmm.
want to, of course, look nice, but you don't want anything. I just really patterns, I guess. The loud patterns typically
Mm-hmm.
don't photograph too well, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you have a loud horse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for tack, it's I like to tell them, of course, if it's going to be a session for an ad, we're all going to be in show gear.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're going to look your best no matter what. For portraits, for just horse and rider stuff for you, not for an ad necessarily. For tack for your horse, it's really what they want. We or all three really. Like if you can have just a halter, you can have them look naked,
Mm-hmm.
or just fully tacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's nice to kind of like interchange the tack options with different outfits. So if you're wearing a nice dress or something, just have a bridle and bareback would look
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do suggest if you are wearing like a nice like flowy dress and you've never ridden your horse in a nice flowy dress, do that prior to the session. Um, a lot of horses are okay with it, but there are some that are not. So you want to
Yeah.
try that out before your photographer gets there.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Yes.
And then for the ladies who are listening who might be self-conscious about hair and makeup, tell us about either what you recommend or maybe what just doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. Like you
Okay.
should wear what you are comfortable in. If you're
Okay.
gonna wear, whether it's makeup or clothes,
Sure.
if you're not comfortable having that, don't do it for a photo shoot because you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be uncomfortable during your photo shoot the entire time. Um, but I mean, everyone's beautiful. They don't need makeup unless you are I wear mascara. Like if you're not a makeup wearer, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to wear makeup during your session, that's absolutely okay. We're still going to make your eyes pop and look absolutely stunning in your pictures, whether you have makeup on or not. So it's not a necessity.
Yeah, that's helpful. So, in thinking about the creative side, or the maybe the part that we don't see that's happening in your mind,
Mm.
what inspires you when you get to wherever it is that you're going? Is it the horse? Is it the place that you are, or does it tend to be the story behind the person?
Honestly, I think it's the story with the person and the horse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I
Okay.
love hearing those, and especially when it's, a horse that has really helped a client through hard times.
Mm,
Oh, capturing the bonds between them, and it's absolutely amazing. And those I tend to get a little bit more creative, um, and zoom in on like special moments. And I love capturing the between the poses when they don't think I'm looking, when they're
mm,
just interacting with their horse. That is what I aim to get. Just the candid moments. Just horse and rider, and that's it. Um, but so I would just have to say it really is just the horse and the rider and their
yeah.
stories that
Yeah.
do it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That you got me sucked right in. Just now, I feel like I'll have a different appreciation when I look at your pictures and see those moments that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I've seen those before, but haven't really taken into consideration the depth that you're capturing in that moment. So, how do you make a shoot or a particular pose or what have you feel unique? Um, or maybe where do you draw your inspiration for the poses that you recommend for people?
So what's great about these sessions
Mm-hmm.
is I could do one pose with 100 different horses and riders or just
Mm,
horses. Every single one of them will be different. Like each person and horse brings something different to the sessions. So it might be a regular
mm-hmm.
pose that I do,
Yep.
but it's going to be different. Your photo is going to be different than another person like that. The horse and rider, they just bring something different. So it's not hard to capture that.
Yeah.
It's just something unique because everything is unique. Everything
Mm-hmm.
is different, even when it's the same pose.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I would imagine maybe helps manage people's expectations because it really doesn't take an off the wall pose or location to capture what you're talking about, which is really the essence of why we're with our horses anyway, right? Is the
Exactly.
connection that we have. So, yeah. Um, so if you're thinking about being at a horse show, do you prefer the candid moments or the candid shots that you get when you look back through those, or the posed moments?
Um, Probably the candids.
Yeah.
Just because this is gonna sound mushy, but you can almost see into their soul a little bit. Like
Mm,
it when you capture something when they're not expecting it, you
mm-hmm.
just see something beautiful between the two. So I would have to say the candid moments are my favorite.
Mm. Sounds like they're soul fillers for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so in maybe guiding somebody who's listening and considering becoming a photographer, what advice would you give somebody who wants to break into the business either as the photographer or has an interest in being an assistant?
Okay. So for anyone who's interested in being a photographer and
Uh-huh.
kind of doing this as a business, the best advice I can give you is find a photographer that has a
Mm.
style that you like,
Mm-hmm.
that you want to aspire to be, and
Mm-hmm.
contact them to do like a one-on-one mentorship. There are a ton of like online courses. I've spent lots of money on those. But like having one-on-one with a photographer that you look up to and
Mm,
to have someone to ask questions and to give critiques or to kind of teach you their ways, I,
mhm,
it is worth every penny. And then you'll be able to morph what you learn from them, and you'll morph that into your own style in your own
mm,
like business. But
yeah.
that's my biggest advice is find someone you really like and ask them for a mentorship.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
for an assistant, um, I mean, kind of the same. Like if you see photographer, look for photographers in your area, or if you want to do like second shooting for horse shows,
Mm, mhm.
reach out to those show photographers and ask them if they're looking for an assistant, if they're looking for a second shooter or an intern or anything like that. And that's a great way to get your foot into the door.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, so tell us what you're dreaming up next. What's on the horizon for you that maybe we wouldn't anticipate? Or something perfectly regular, but what's coming for Brittany Callahan?
So this year I'm finishing my dog project, but
Okay.
next year I am looking to do a passion project for horses
Okay.
that involve my favorite thing, black backgrounds. I love black backgrounds, but I haven't ironed out all the details yet. But
Hmm.
I'm excited for next year. Very excited for
Cool.
next year.
Awesome. And I feel like you've been, every show I go to, you're there, or you're headed to a show that I want to be at. You have just, it seems, accelerated and are at so many big shows. Um, do you have a horse show schedule where we would know ahead of time whether you're going to be at a show we're attending?
Yeah, so I'm posting those on Facebook, and there should
Okay.
be a post at the top.
Okay. And then where can we consistently find you online? I guess in addition to Facebook, is there anywhere else we can find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, although Facebook is probably the best.
Okay.
And then my website, which is www.brittanycallahanphotography.pro.
Pro.
Yes,
Okay. Brittany Callahan Photography Pro.
yes,
Facebook,
yes,
Instagram.
yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with us about what's
Um,
coming or what's happening this summer for you?
I'm just really excited. I really appreciate you letting me being to be on here, and hopefully any of your listeners will be at the WEC show for the paint show in a week, a week and a half. I will be there.
Yes.
Yes.
I will be there.
Amazing.
Cool. That's always fun to know that you're there. Yeah, so that's Ohio Paint Horse Club, I
It
think.
is.
Buckeye Bonanza.
It
Gave
is.
me a,
Yes.
took me a second. Okay, fantastic. Well, I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much for investing in us and just sharing your expertise. And I think the thing that I appreciate most is we really got to see your heart. So
Oh,
thanks for sharing.
well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.